We also have some more details as to what may have led to the expected split between Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Take it away, Diana Rossini, who was on Scoop City via The Athletic. She was talking with Chase Daniel, former NFL quarterback of FS1, and they were discussing maybe what led to the parting of the ways that we all expect for Rodgers and the Jets.
When they had conversations with Aaron Rodgers about what the future would look like, if you're going to be part of this team, you're going to attend all of the training camp. You're not going to do Pat McAfee interviews anymore.
Wait, they said that?
Yeah. If you were to stay here, here's how we would want it to be. So this, to me, is Aaron Glenn getting control back.
So do you think that if he would have agreed to not do that stuff, that he would have been their quarterback?
I think that no matter what the Jets were going to say, Aaron Rodgers wanted to move on.
So that was Diana Rossini with the latest as to why everything sort of transpired the way it did. So is that the Jets basically saying, we know you're not going to agree to these demands, so we're going to throw it out there and expect you to just go ahead and move on?
Thank you.
I mean,
it's possible to me that maybe.
I'm going to react out of far.
Jeez. I think you got to look at it from the standpoint of, do you want to be here and do you want to win? I think there comes a point in time where you got to say, I know who you are as a player. I know what your capabilities are as a player. But at this point in your career, is the team and winning more important than everything else you got going on? And if it is, prove it. And let us know now before we get into, don't try to prove it to me on the field. Let's start by you proving it off the field. What is your commitment level? And I feel as though this is most likely Aaron Glenn leading the charge on it based off of the information that he has ascertained since getting there, and is looking at it from the scope of what you just said, Jonas. Are you going to agree to this? It's most likely, if you are the person that some people are making you out to be, you won't agree to being the best teammate that you can possibly be. You won't. But if you are willing to make these concessions so that we can build team chemistry, so we can stop some of those said leaks that Aaron Rodgers was speaking of. It's funny when you sit there and you're like saying people leaking things. Well, you're in the media and you're talking about what you're talking about too. So you're in essence talking about inside information as well. You're an exclusive interview on the McAfee show. Can we bring this all in-house? Can we build our team culture? Can we build the team chemistry? We got a ton of talented players. Are you willing to be all in? I think that's what they put in front of them. And would it be safe to assume that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be all in if it doesn't fit the all in of what he wants to be and what he wants to do? I think that's what it would be.
I like that. There's two huge issues with basically this becoming public. The first is that you can't mandate a player to be at voluntary workouts. So unfortunately for the Jets, not that they're probably going to do an investigation, but if you're the NFLPA, you should on the behalf of Rodgers, because if this is happening with Aaron Rodgers, maybe it's happening with other players, and there should be a choice because they are voluntary, technically. True. I mean, this is something that players have fought for forever, to be able to have the freedom to go to workouts or not if they want. Now, if they want you to show up, it's really simple. You take a portion of whatever that player is scheduled to make that season, make it a workout bonus.
That's a bonus.
He's got to be there X amount of percentage of times. LaVar, imagine you had a workout bonus.
I did.
Is that fair?
And everyone.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's typically what they do with guys who they don't think are going to show up.
And you didn't have to do it.
And you don't have to.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
don't have to. Yeah.
But like Green Bay Packers are notorious for this, because there's not a lot of players who in the offseason, right, in March, that want to go back up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And so they would slate in their contracts a workout bonus. So they'd be there from Monday through Thursday. Players would fly home. You'd see them at the airport there, probably connecting from Chicago, maybe taking a PJ. I don't know. But that's typically how it worked. And they would get like a 3-day weekend off during that portion of OTAs. So the off-season training activities. So that's one issue, is it's kind of dumb to let that become public and then ask something of Aaron Rodgers like that when you full well know it's against the CBA. So that's the first issue with it. The second issue with it is you can't dictate to a player to not be a part of the media. Like, you can't say to him, like, oh, you can't do this, or you can't go out and tweet if you want, or post on X, or do a podcast or something. Like, that's also protected within the CBA. So already in their early on tenure for the New York Jets, they're stumbling over things that are within the collective bargaining agreement. And I understand what Aaron Glenn and what they're trying to do. But the reality is you also have to play by the rules with it. And you can't be that outward with how you're going about, especially a player like Aaron Rodgers, who's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And you know, anything you say around him, to him, talk to other people about, sources. I mean, Diana Rossini comes up with a source. It's like, and anything that comes out, it's going to be talked about. He's a polarizing figure. So it's going to make waves. So to me, already, them kind of stumbling out the gates here. And if you're not going to have Aaron Rodgers, like, this is the last thing I just say on this matter. Who the hell is your quarterback? I know we talked to Prisco about that yesterday a little bit, but in all seriousness, like, is it Tyrod Taylor? Do they go find someone that they're going to pay in free agency? And if so, like, why wouldn't you just keep Rodgers then? Like, why wouldn't you keep him for a year to see how it goes?
One of the things that I thought about when we were discussing Derek Carr's situation, the Jets were another team he discussed potentially signing with when he made the move to go to New Orleans. And yeah, the Devontae Adams aspect of it. So maybe Derek Carr, if New Orleans moves on from him and they make that decision in March, maybe that's an option. And the part about the Jets are basically telling Aaron Rodgers, according to this report from Diana Rossini, you know what, you're way too distracted. We need you focused on just football. As this gets leaked to the media again from the Jets, who Aaron Rodgers has said from the get-go have too many leaks already. It's like they're accusing him and saying he needs to play ball and just focus on football, except they're the ones in February that are already leaking all this stuff to the media.
And it further fractures the relationship. Like, just be clear on that, right? Like, whoever the leak is, that's the leak. I mean, that's always been New York teams.
Why not just
both the Giants and the Jets? That has always been. If you look at how Jay Glazer built his reputation in the league, it's all started being in New York and being an insider with information from New York.
Some people would say Strahan.
There were more. There were more.
I don't doubt
but
that.
him and Stray are best friends for a reason. I mean, that ain't no military secret.